guys, welcome back to The Good, the Bad with Kat. I am Kat, and as you can see, we have a new backdrop because I went to Hobby Lobby the other day and I found these glowing lips, and I was LED lips and I just about died. So I redid the whole room to accommodate them. They're so fun. So I went and repainted my sign that Katie made, and then I plugged those in, and then of course I got my wake up and makeup sign and just redid my whole office. So I'm so excited. You can see a bunch of my setting sprays up there and some eye makeup remover. So this will probably change around quite a bit, but I'm hoping we can have some fun this year. If this changed colors, this would change all the time, but unfortunately it's just red. But still, how fun is that? Guys, it's 2025 and I have so much makeup to film. I didn't even realize until I gutted my office how much makeup I've just had squirreled away for filming. And so I literally have 2 bins. I'm going to take a picture, Emily, and send them so it'll be filled in right here. But anyway, today we're filming with Danessa Myricks' Blooming Romance Groundwork Palette. This is an interesting palette. I actually have been waiting to film with this first and foremost because it's beautiful, but I am a little overwhelmed myself by it. So it smells wonderful though. It is a cream and powder palette. What I love is these are all magnetic, so you can take them in and out because these are tiny, and so it's cool that you can pop them in and out. So if you have the other palette, you could actually mix and match. There's a neutral palette by her, and you're supposed to be able to use it for everything. I watched a whole bunch of videos. A lot of people have said it's really fun, but it's also a little difficult to work with because if you don't know how to mix with powders and creams, it can be difficult. So I thought, let's get into it. I'm a little nervous, but let's try it. So we are not going to swatch this. I watched a whole thing. This girl says it doesn't swatch well, but we will try to use as many of the colors as possible today so you can kind of see it. So the things I've been learning online is that and we'll do 2 different eye looks to give it the full, it's supposed to be able to carve out your eyebrows. You're supposed to be able to do blush with it. And so it does. It has a whole bunch of really pretty mauves. It's not lighting up the way it lights up on some of the other things. So I do recommend. I watched Nikki LaRose and then I watched Morgan Turner talk about this palette before I decided to even dive into it. And so I do recommend watching one of their videos to see what they think. They're a lot more seasoned than I am with makeup, but also to get to see how it films on their cameras versus my cameras. Does that make sense? All right, so right now we're going to go into Desire, which is this kind of corally color, and y'all know I don't ever go into coral colors, but why not? And we're gonna go in and we're gonna start sticking it. So I saw they were saying you have to kind of blend. This is a blender. This is not it does have quite a bit of color, but they were saying you kind of have to go in and blend with it. And one of the big things was stay simple. So 1 or 2 colors, don't go too intense. Like this is not a color where you can just stick a little cream here and a little cream here like I do. This is one of those ones where you want to be careful with how you put it on. Now, you do have to set it with the powder because cream will crease. So that's one of the things that's I think for some people causes the problems is that it does in the end. I'm going to move my mirror a little bit. All right. Sorry, I was annoyed that this mirror wasn't lighting up. What I love about this mirror my friend got me is look, it goes all the way up. So I think we just need the lowest one, but just something so you can kind of see how that's lighting up. And I'm not gonna lie, I hate the orange. Not because I don't, but because it's just not my color. This is an Emily color, this is my daughter's color. But I want to show you just some of the different looks. Now, the cool thing is you can use this as a blush as well. You can use it as a lipstick. So we're going to go in. Now, here's the thing with these. Once these are dirty, they're dirty because you really can't, they're creams. So now I'm going to go into right here. I'm going to go into this Adorn. Sorry. It's like, what is that? And this is just like, I did see the girl use it today, and it's a beautiful, like, reddish kind of color. I don't know why I stuttered so hard to get that, but I'm going to try to carve out like a little bit of a side right here. Now they do play well together, which is very nice. You don't struggle to get the colors to do what they need to do, which is nice. So we're kind of just, see how I'm kind of getting an ombre look, but not getting an ombre look. I'm going to go in with this a little bit more to see if I can ombre that up just a little bit more. That's not my favorite, but interesting. I'm very intrigued by all of this. I want to go real quick into this. It's XO. It's the darkest color, and I want to see. It's a bit purple, but if you weren't paying it, for a subtle look, could you color your eyebrows in? Why not? It's not so purple that you shouldn't be able to color your eyebrows in, but, it's going to give me a darker eyebrow than I'm used to. Why did I just totally miss? I don't know if you could tell. I totally missed my eyebrow right there. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, I just totally was like, I'll just go 3 inches below the eyebrow. So obviously this is too dark, but if you had black hair, like my friend Vanita, who has real dark hair, she could use XO and color in her eyebrows. That's interesting. So it really does. I'm going to go in the color right next to it, which is Evermore, and see if I can do that. The reason I didn't want to use this one is this one was a lot more purple. But if I could use that to color in my eyebrows. But the thing is, actually, it kind of works. I mean, everything I was reading online is that you're supposed to be able to use this all over your face to carve out everything you want. Now, I can see that with the neutral palettes because it's got browns and blacks and ivories. So I really see where that works. But in real life, my eyebrows are purple. It's kind of purpley. But it does for what it says it is. It does. You can use it. It just looks weird. All right, I do want to go in. I have a bit of a bigger brush, and I kind of want to go into that XO, just in the slightest sense, and kind of throw that down as a little bit of contour. Depending on your shade, I do think this would work. And I actually think because it has like a pomegranate, darker purple, not pomegranate, but like eggplant color to it, you could get some really neat shading. But that did work. It's not wonderful, but that did work. I'm going to go in on the other side with a little bit of this. I saw the girl use this for a color corrector on the under the eye. Let's try that real quick. And I thought that works. Interesting. I think because I'm using it against something so peach, you can kind of see it. But light pink, it does brighten the under eye. That is what bright pink is known for. That's why it's become the new thing. Wow, look at compared the two. Wow, when you're not trying to compete with that peach, that really does work. Wow, that's it. That's really cool. Okay, that's fascinating. Okay, cool. I'm going to keep going. This is the Crush. It's the lightest pink. I am going to take that and kind of neutral out that front of this orange eye. See how I did that? So again, I'm trying to create an ombre look. So I'm going to go back into Crush, which is a little bit more of that pink. Bring that in right like that. So you can see that. And then, of course, I'm going to take a Q-tip. And I'm just going to clean up a little bit. Oh, that's great. Okay, cool. Going back into Desire, which is that corally orange, just to stick it right there. Great. Perfect. Fantastic. I'm going back into Adore just to darken up that outside. And now, from what I understand, we have to go in, and now we have to go in with the powders and set it. So I'm going into the Adore powder, and I'm going to set that. And then I'm going to use the exact same brush, and I'm going to go into Desire and set that middle. And I had heard that the powders had a lot more pigment, and I am seeing that. Oh, no. Now we're going into Adore, which is that darker burgundy, and we're gonna lock it in. Is what I heard Nikki LaRose was saying you kind of are locking in these colors. So that's interesting. That's actually really pretty. I wasn't expecting that. That's quite beautiful. Now what I would do is, you guys know I love my little skinny mini brushes, and I don't think I have enough here. These little tiny brushes, and I think I'm gonna skip the cream. Maybe I'll do a little mix, and I'm gonna go in and stick that right here in my waterline. You know, I keep tons of these little crappy brushes. You can use them for nail polish cleaning up, but I really like them for details. Even if they're junky, you know, like let's say you're like, if you were doing art, maybe just maybe you wouldn't want that. So I'm not gonna go back in with that color. I'm gonna go back in with that Adore, which is the coral, and I'm gonna go in and buff that onto that to lock that in, because I don't want more of the red, I want more of the coral. That's interesting. Okay, I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I love it, but I don't hate it. Okay, now we're gonna go into, I really want to use, I'm gonna go now into the pinks. So I think I'm gonna go into, if I go here, I feel like that's gonna force me to go into these two. If I go, yeah, let's start here with Smitten. We're going back in with creams, and we're gonna lay that down, and then we'll see if we can start adding some of the purples. Because again, I wanted to show you kind of all the colors, you know. So, and everything I said, I saw them use. These might not be the best brushes, but you wanted more fluffier brushes with these. But this one might be too fluffy, so I'm gonna put that down and try to go in with a little bit more of a packed one. I think that one might have been too. So for me, that color is doing absolutely nothing. Which makes sense. I'm a cooler neutral. So let's go one color over into Dream and see if this pink picks up and gives me anything. Now, what they were saying, and I have experienced this, is some of these colors, they're kind of dry until you kind of pop them. Does that make sense? That they're going to feel dry and you're going to be scared to kind of dig in, but you kind of have to like activate it. Like you have to wake it up from being pressed. And so that does make sense. I am definitely seeing that. Okay, so Dream, what a little cute little pink. Who would have known that was so light? Okay, so that's going to be interesting for darker skinned people. That may not go on. You know, that's barely showing up for me. Now I'm trying to see. Again, I'm trying to, maybe I'm using the wrong kind. So I'm going to go in with an even thicker brush and see if I can wake that up a little bit more. Okay. Let's see. Okay, but even still, barely. Okay, we're going to go into Allure, which is the color I saw both girls use. Oh, so pretty. It's like this beautiful kind of purpley, but still light purple. Oh, I like that. And again, she said go simple, so I'm keeping that right under that pink so as not to like take away. And then I think I'm going to go into Bliss. And I'm going in with the same brush because it doesn't really matter. They're all being blended into each other. I'm going from lightest to darkest. So yeah. Oh, I like that Bliss a lot too. Okay. You do have to kind of play with it though so that it doesn't kind of like, in real life it feels like it's chunking right there. And I'm not a big fan of that. But I'm going to just go right here and try to blend that out. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, I clearly had makeup on my hands because I just stuck it all right there. Look how pretty that is. That's beautiful. I am curious. I'm going to go in with the darkest color now and just again darken out that little side. Okay, now we're gonna go in with the powders. So I'm going in. The girl said for her, she ended up popping it out, which I get. Okay, holy cow. I went into this powder. Did you see how dark that went down? So I can see why they said that. It is definitely, you know, giving way more color. Look at how much darker that look is now that I've gone into the powders. So I'm not going to go into the darkest powder. I'm just going to go into Bliss and buff that in right there. Because I didn't really want to go super dark. But once you put those powders on, it's definitely a lot darker. So that's really fun. Okay, now we're going to go in. I brought another flat line, but I want to go into this color right here, which this is Evermore, and I had put that on the other eye. So I want to try that right here and go into this eye. Like, I really want it in my waterline. I'm kind of treating it like an eyeliner. Oh, I like that. Okay, now I want to show you what I saw them do, which I thought was really interesting. We're going to go into this darkest color and kind of mark it like this, like I'm going like this to get, I want it on that flat, making sure I activated it so it's open. And what she did, she made it a very soft eyeliner. I really like that. And you do, she said you do have to lock it in with the powder. So that's interesting. Okay, so I'm going into the powder now. Now we're just gonna lock that in. That's pretty. Okay, so that's an interesting, it's really interesting. It's very intriguing. Like, I'm super intrigued by it. Now I'm gonna get out a blush brush. I'm gonna go in with Dream. This color right here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to pop them out because I feel like I'm just making a mess in the palette. So I'm going to get my brush in there, I'm kind of having to go in and really, it's not a bad thing, but I'm really having to go in and get that blush brush. And I hate the fact that I'm having to dig into that. Well, because I wasn't looking at my cheek and the blush was going on there. Okay. And now very lightly going into the powder to set it. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, now what I want to do is do the same thing over here, but with the Adorn. I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm going to go into Adorn. And kind of use that for my blush. That's pretty. That's such a pretty color. Not my color at all, but very pretty. And then I'm going into the powder right behind it, which again is going to give you the pigment. I love that you can pop those in and out. That's really cool. Okay, so I'm, besides getting it all over my face, I think it's a beautiful palette. Where I'm struggling with it, to be honest, is see how the divots, but I did notice the Nikki LaRose, who's used hers quite a bit, has the same thing. So it's a normal, you need it. You need to break them in. So that makes sense. I'm going to go into Lovesick because I think it's a pretty neat, nice, kind of warmish but coolish. And let's stick that on the lips. Since it's supposed to be your full face. And I think this color kind of will match. You know what I really think is interesting? I think this would actually last a really long time on the lips because it's very dry. It's very, very, very dry. And then honestly, preferably I'd go in with a little bit of my kabuki brush. And I want to lighten that cheek up right there. That's a little too dark for me. You know, so that's just something I would do to kind of fix my face a little bit. All right, let's do final thoughts on this Danessa Myricks Groundwork Blooming Romance Palette. I love it. I think it's really great. I'm going to throw some cautions out there. This was $65 plus tax and shipping. But Danessa Myricks always has sales. So I think that's not too bad for how much product you get. But I'm going to echo what I heard the YouTuber Morgan Turner say. This is not for the faint of heart. That's not what she said. What she said was, if you are not comfortable and confident in your eyeshadow work and you need someone to hold your hands to do eyeshadow works, this is not the palette for you. This is for, I struggled with it. I watched several videos on it before I was even willing to open it. And so I definitely think if you're going to buy it, watch some videos on it, learn about it, because it's not for the faint of heart. It's really not. It's a phenomenal palette, but you have to kind of know how to work it to make it work. And so that's interesting. I think for me personally, I would put this to the side, and I wish I would have bought the neutral palette. The neutrals has the bronzers, and hopefully, Emily, you're putting a picture here. I could see myself using that so much more than this. And the reason why is I have a black eyebrow and a purple eyebrow. I'm not sure what my contour looks like off camera. The blush and stuff worked, but these are not colors I'm going to use for my base. These kind of colors, which was, you know, me being me, I was thinking solely eyeshadow. So for eyeshadows, this is where I go. But I think the other one would actually, I know that when I buy the neutral palette, that's going to sit on my desk, and I'm going to do my bronzer, contour, and eyebrows with that palette all the time. So does that make sense? So that's kind of what I'm saying. I think it's worth it if you have the money to spend and you want to splurge. I think it's a phenomenal palette. However, my personal opinion is stick with the neutral one, because you'll get more use out of it. Considering the fact you can use it every day for the everyday things. Whereas for me, I won't use this every day. It's more of like a splurge. But anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for joining with me on this, with this palette. I just love Danessa Myricks. I think her products are phenomenal. And I'm not gonna lie, everything I have bought from her, I have fallen in love with. There's nothing's been bad. I love my Yummy Skin. I had the clear one, and then I bought the one that matches my skin tone, and I just think it's phenomenal. And I love my Lightwork palette. So she's got some amazing products. I actually saw that she's dropping a color vault, which has 66 colors in it. And I don't have $500 because that's how much it is, but I love her products so much that I would, if I had $500 to spend, I would do it. Can I say, as I've been talking, I am digging both eyeshadow looks. Actually, I'm liking this one more, which is funny to me. So now I'm kind of like, do I change my mind? Interesting. So I really am enjoying, I love the way my eyes look. I think they look beautiful. But anyway, all that to say, thank you for joining me. This was so much fun, and I might try to do some lipstick looks. And if I do, I'll have Emily, just hopefully she will have put them in while I was chatting. So anyway, I hope you remember you were seen, you were loved, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.